Okay, I know we've got a few more people that are going to be joining, but we will get started because there's a lot to cover today and we've got our introductions to do. So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on product strategy and roadmap for AI Ops. Joining me today is Yaron Front, Director of Product Management, BMC Helix. And then we have John Stevens Hall, our Principal Solutions Marketing Manager. And then we have myself, Samantha Hudson dos Santos Figueira, a Program Manager at BMC Helix. We also will be introducing our guest speaker. You can just go to the next slide. So Anuj, if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll come back to Yaron again, who will get us started.
Yep, sure, Sam. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Myself, Anuj Gupta. So I work as a principal product manager with BMC Helix. So in my current role, I'm looking after the Helix AI portfolio, and essentially, I want to work with the customers like you to really understand what are the current IT operations problems that we are facing, and then how can we drive the product use cases, be able to prioritize those, product backlog around those. And then I'm also responsible for working with the cross-functions team to, for a smooth and a unified product experience. So in today's session, what I'm excited is to share some of the product innovations that we're working on, and then see how can we partner with customers like you to see how can you use our solutions to improve and streamline your IT operations areas. So I think some of this is something I'm going to cover towards the later part of the session, but for now I'll pass it on back to Sam and Yeren to go ahead.
Thank you. And before I hand over to Yaron to do his actual introduction, just a reminder, there is the Q&A section of Zoom. If you have any questions during this session, you will remain muted until the end. We'd love you to put your questions into the Q&A section, and then we will have roughly around 10 to 15 minutes at the end where we will go to the live Q&A. So with that, I'm now going to hand over to Yaron to do the introductions and to get us started. Over to you, Yaron.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Anuj and John, for joining the session today, and thanks to everybody who's already joined our session. So this is a brand new webinar series that we're doing. It's called the Ascent webinar series, and last week, John hosted the IT service management segment of this webinar series and was talking about all the great innovation and the roadmap that we have for IT service management. And in today's session, it's the first session we have, so I'm especially grateful for everybody who's joining. This is our first session about AI Ops, AI Operations Management. So in this series, what we're going to do is we're going to give you, our audience, a sneak peek about what we're going to be doing in the future. And we're going to have we're going to have quarterly sessions of these webinars, where in each quarterly episode, one for IT service management and one for AI ops, we're going to be discussing how we see the future. And what's really, really important for us in these sessions is also to listen to you and get your feedback about how you see the future. How does our roadmap and our vision align with your goals and with your business needs? And I was actually on a really interesting session yesterday. So we have our roadshow now. So we're going around the different cities in the world. We were in London, and then in Mumbai, and then in Australia, in Melbourne, and now today we're in Stockholm, doing meetings with our customers and bringing our story to the field. And yesterday I had a meeting at the Helix Users Group, or we call it the HUG, the HUG. And what we did there was we talked about the future of HelixGPT, Agentic AI, generative AI. And one of the interesting things that kind of came up in my conversations with our customers and with our users is that people are a little bit hesitant about the value of agentic AI and GPT when it comes to, quite honestly, very natural, thoughts about whether this is going to replace what we do as humans. Are the machines coming to take over and take our jobs? So I was just talking to some people yesterday, and I was thinking about, I'm a product manager, right? So I manage a product, I look after the roadmap, like Anush said, and I kind of try to anticipate future needs, and I talk to customers. And I thought, well, is generative AI, is agentic AI going to, at the end of the day, take over my role? And the answer that I got to was yes, but in a way. What that means is there are certain things that I do as part of my job. And just to let everybody know, I love what I do. It's probably the greatest job in the world to be able to look into the future and build, futuristic solutions for customers. But there are also aspects of my job that are not so much fun and that are sometimes tedious, and you have to write documents and you have to write reports and you write specifications and you have to set up meetings and you have to, summarize, write minutes. And I thought, you know what? Gen AI and having effective agents can really, really help me do my job better. So they're going to take over aspects that have to do with repetitive, kind of mindless, some would say soul-sucking work that you have to do. But what we know how to do best as humans is to be innovative, is to be able to do things like the favorite part of my job, which is what I'm doing right now, which is talking to customers and listening to customers and answering questions and having conversations. And honestly, as somebody who is really, has the privilege of looking into the future and working with the people who define what the future looks like, I don't think that is going to be replaced. So essentially, I think I'm going to get to do my job better and I'm going to have more fun because I'm going to have an assistant in the form of an agentic agent that's going to take over the routine parts, freeing me up to innovate and do new stuff. But I was just wondering, so we have a two product managers here. We have marketing, the solution marketing person and a program manager. So I'm just wondering, John, what do you think? How is this going to affect what we do?
It's a great question. We were talking about this, of course, beforehand in the context of my world, which, I come from a strong IT service management background. And of course, that's an area where there's a lot of focus of agentic AI in terms of things that it might automate. But then, I know because I've done this role a long time, because I've been in service management more than 20 years, I also know that we live in a world of queues. We live in a world of backlogs. The work is constrained by the throughput that we can achieve, and we're only human and we can only achieve so much. And I talk to a lot of people in service management and I ask them the question, what would you actually do if you weren't worried about that queue and the fact that you want to do proactive things, but the queue takes priority, and by the time you've got to the end of the queue is full of new things. And when you talk to service desk managers, they might want to get out and actually do much more outreach to customers, set up remote stations, do more proactive work. Change managers want to get involved more with DevOps teams to integrate change management practices to meet governance needs, but also meet the goals of rapid innovation through the pipeline. All these things would be massively value adding to those professionals as well as to their organization. And that's what excites me, is that I see us moving to a world beyond queues where we're using agents to bring our expertise to the point where we're delivering value much more frequently, much more often. So I think service management is going to get much, much better. And I don't see this as being a replacement. I see it as being the tools we've all been waiting for.
So augmenting, not replacing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. That's an interesting perspective. Thanks, John. Anuj, where do you fall in this conversation?
No, I think this is a very relevant, and I agree with you. So I would say it is more like an enabler of something which is designed to assist us humans, rather than really replacing it. And let me give you one example. In our day-to-day job, while we are working with our back-end engineering teams, right, on a given use case that we want to develop, a lot of times our developers were focused on how do I manually write those rule-based things to connect this piece with this data with this data without and then by doing that they do lose sight of what is the end result that we're looking at, because this process itself is very time consuming in some cases, right? Now with this whole technology wave around Gen AI, agentic AI, I think it is only going to be an enabler. It is only going to expedite that piece of, let the AI do those time-consuming, complex tasks by giving it all the data it needs. And we, as the SMEs, as the developers, as the PMs, can focus on still solving that customer use case and the customer problem. And hence, and then how do we integrate also, and then the time saved from that, we also see how can this solution gets integrated into the customer's
Right.
workflows and the solution. So I think that for me is so everybody is still required, everybody is still doing the job and do much better with leveraging this agentic AI and Gen AI piece. I think it's only for our advantage that it is going to help us, not disrupt in a negative sense. I feel.
Interesting. That's very interesting, Anuj. Sam, any thoughts?
Well, I think I work on a lot of webinars, and mainly for me, the most important would be the automating of routine tasks. I scale across so many people in BMC or BMC Helix now, and the hardest thing for me is the amount of admin that I have. So what I've found it's really helpful with is generation of preparation materials like agendas, slides, briefing notes. It's also helping me to find meetings that I've maybe run with someone and I can't find the content because we go through so much. And the biggest thing for me is just I don't see AI in any way, shape, or form as a detractor for me. It's definitely an enhancer because all of those automations of the routine tasks, especially scheduling and reporting, which is a key bit of my role, everyday stuff is going to become much easier for me, and it means I can spend more time setting up webinars for customers. So there's loads of use cases. I could probably talk on this for about another hour, but we only have an hour. But in
Yeah.
general, that we've worked with Darius and Ash. They're doing a whole podcast series around the benefits of human versus AI and how it can help you every day, because I know it's an important subject and I genuinely feel it's an enhancer, not a detractor. But yeah, that's my main thing that I use it for: scheduling, reporting, and just trying to find stuff to make things quicker and faster.
Yep. I think it's very interesting. I mean, just for the audience, you've heard 4 different views on this, and I encourage everybody to kind of think how generative AI and agentic AI can really help you in your job, whether it be with tools like what we're talking about today with IT service management and IT operations management, or even with other things. And one of the things Anuj is going to talk about is our Agent Studio, which is going to show you how you can build your own agent. So actually not having like a generic assistant, but having an assistant that knows you, that knows your preferences, that knows how to help you in your specific things. But with that, let's just start with a little bit of talking about the road ahead. So if we talk about the road ahead, is we're talking about our vision. So the first thing is we always listen. And that's probably the most important skill for anybody doing product management. And what we've heard from you is that there are certain challenges in operations management that are making it more difficult to achieve our goals. And one of the first ones is a skill gap. So as technology advances, as the number of services that we as IT provide to our organization grows, there's a constant skill gap building, and you always need to be at the forefront. And there are so many new technologies. How do you handle that? How do you make sure that if something goes wrong or if you need to handle an issue, how do you know how to solve it when there are so many different technologies and the technology is so complex? Another problem is system downtime. Again, requirements go up, and you're supposed to do more with less. Resources don't go up at the same pace. So how do you prevent systems from going down? How do you handle infrastructure complexity? How do you balance this fine balance between having enough resources to provide the services that you are obligated to provide while making sure that you're not overspending and spending money on things that nobody ever uses? And obviously limited resources, right? We all work under resource constraints. There are never enough resources. So how do we handle that? Well, one of the ways that we see doing that is bringing in the two disciplines of service management and operations management together. And doing that and being able to streamline how we work with these two, essentially making it one continuous discipline, is key to being able to do more with less and being able to achieve our goals. So what we do with all of the capabilities that you see here is being able to bring in service management and operations management and essentially making it a single practice across the organization, from observability and operations to ticketing, using all of these capabilities. But what we've also done is that we realize that organizations are different and they have their own needs, and they want to have the flexibility to implement a platform that knows how to run operations and service management the way they want to. So we call this our open first approach to service ops, which is service and operations management together. So using an open first approach, we allow our users the flexibility to have their own AI models running in their own environment, with the flexibility to have whatever deployment they want to have. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that soon. But maybe referring back, and I think this is a great slide, it refers back to the conversation we had in the beginning, which is, if we look at the body of work that we have today, we focus as humans on the bottom left on this orange square, which has some complexity to it and value to it. But there are things that we're not doing just because we don't have enough hours in a day. And because we don't have the mindset to do the very complex things, because there are other things that may be less complex, maybe more routine, maybe, don't really require all that many skills that we have to deal with because they're really important. And where we see HelixGPT and the agentic revolution really changing the way we work is what we discussed before in the beginning of this episode today, which is, we're going to let the agents take care of a lot of things where an agent is really good. So an agent has vast ability to learn data and remember data, right? So it can read, hundreds of thousands of articles sometimes, and remember and be able to access that data very quickly. It also knows how to recognize patterns quickly. It knows how to write stuff very well, right? So we got Gen AI, it knows how to write things well. We let we let the agents focus on that. And we leave the things that we excel at as humans, which is innovation, which is soft skills, which is the ability to work as a team of people. It's having the sensitivity to talk and relate to people, and sometimes listen and understand beyond what somebody is saying. So as a product manager, I find myself having to listen not to what somebody says that they need, but to understand where they really want to be. So these things, that's what we're going to be focusing on. And the routine stuff, the soul crushing, mundane things that we do every day, we're going to leave for the agents. So when we say that we take an open first approach, the first thing is we allow you to have your AI and your data. So you own the data, you own the sovereignty of the data. You don't have to pass the data over to us. You don't run your large language models on our servers. You get to choose where you want to have the data. You can have it secure if you're a highly regulated environment or if you have different regulatory requirements, because you're the one owning your generative and agentic AI, you get to choose how you do it to stay compliant and be able to have the security and sovereignty you need. The other thing is your user interface. So when I want to talk to John or I want to talk to Anuj or to Sam today, they're part of the team that I work with. I just go to Teams and I write them a message or I give them a call and I can talk to them. Why should it be that if I want to talk to an agentic AI agent and I want it to perform a task or I want it to reach a goal or I want to tell it how to do something, why should I go into a different user interface than the one that I'm using today to communicate with my peers and my team? I don't need to do that. With our open first approach, we're able to allow our customers and users to use their own tools like Teams or Google, Slack, or whatever it is in order to work with these agents. So it's your choice of which user interface and user experience you want to have. And last, but certainly not least, is we give you a choice of deployment. You can deploy this on any cloud provider that you feel comfortable with, that you have approved in your organization. But we also allow, and this is critically important, we allow our customers to also deploy our solutions on premises. And basically, we give you a choice. You want to deploy one way? That's fine. You want the other one? That's fine too. It's the same software, it's adaptable, it knows how to run in different environments. So you have the choice. So just talking a little bit about our agents. So we've defined 4 areas of agent expertise. The first one is employee engagement. That's how do I interact with my employees? How do I give them the best experience possible to get the services that they need as employees? We've got service management and asset and compliance. We talked about those last week in the webinar series, but that's how do I manage my IT services? And last but not least, the one that we're focusing on today is AI ops, AI operations management. And you see that we have a limited set of highly specialized agents that are purpose driven and that working together provide you with a full solution. So all these agents, they know how to collaborate, they know how to swarm, they know how to work together and give you the results that you need. But on the other hand, we're not offering 1,000 agents or 100 agents because we want to be able to map out the agent and the skills that each one of these agents has to a human subject matter expert role in order to have the agents mimic the way you do business today to be the most effective. So you don't have to learn a new way of doing things. You're going to be doing things the same way, just a lot more efficiently with the right agent support. And I would encourage you to be very, very careful when you're looking at different agentic and agentic AI solutions, not to get sucked into, oh, having more agents is better. That's almost like me telling you, hey, having more applications is better. We know it isn't because every new application, you need to learn it. and it's a different tool, and you have to maintain it, and oftentimes you have to license, pay a different license for each one. What you want to have is a solution that really maps to what you do. And the way we do that, so we've got the different agents for AI ops. Some of these we're going to be looking at, and Anuja's going to present those to us. We've got other agents that are designed to deflect cases and be able to provide support at an L1 level, with humans just managing a fleet of agents to handle service management, and obviously different agents to help you manage your employee experience. So things like, if I need to understand what is the procedure for me to book a hotel in Stockholm, instead of having to go and read a procedure, I can just go in and say, and ask an agent, hey, how do I book a hotel in Stockholm? And then the next one would be, okay, book one for me in this area. So kind of just to bring everything together, our service ops strategy is to have a comprehensive fleet of agents working together. It's the ability to provide a resilient and compliant infrastructure for your agentic AI strategy. So giving you the open first platform that can deploy on-prem, cloud, hybrid, having the same software, just having it conform to what you need and not to what we think you need, and improving productivity and getting better outcomes. And with all that, I am now going to turn it over to my good friend Anuj to talk to us a little bit about the specifics of what our agentic AI ops roadmap looks like. Anuj,
Perfect.
over to you.
Yep, thanks, Yaron. I think with that kickstart into our AI ops and IT operations management vision, now let us spend some few minutes to look at some of the exciting innovations that are coming in our product and some of the upcoming product capabilities that you would see as well. Okay.
Anuj, we
Before
cannot see your screen.
I have just a second. Let me reshare again. Can you see it again now? Okay. So, Yaron, is that better? Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry, John, Sam, can you see the Anuj's screen?
Yep, innovation. Yep.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Anuj, please.
Okay, sorry. So I'll just move on. Before I do, given some of the content here is our roadmap presentations, so I want to share this legal notice that this is confidential information of BMC Helix, and some of the content is subject to change, and hence, but feel free to reach out to us if there are any questions now or later as well. Okay, interesting. So, before we proceed and look at some of the cool innovations, I want to spend a couple of minutes to give a bird's eye view and to reiterate what does BMC Helix AIOps means for us and for our customers, right? So, what does it entail is the as Yael mentioned about the open agentic AI platform, right? And that is the core of it. That how do we make sure that we have an open platform that allows users to ingest the data, be it via the BMC provided agents to ingest the data, or we have also figured out that not everything can be by the BMC, and hence we let customers also can ingest the data from their own platform, from their own solutions that they're using. And with the Helix platform, it is not only the operations management observability data, the likes of your logs and metrics, traces and events. What we also provide is the adjacent data, the incidents data, for example, or the changes data, all in context, so that we can analyze the issues a lot more better with a more 360-degree view of the problem. So once we ingest the data onto our platform, we provide, a lot of you maybe already be using it. What we provide is a blueprint-based approach to create an end-to-end service modeling in terms of how the users will interact with your business services and technical services, and be able to understand that if there's an issue at an application, is it because of the application issue, or it is at the underlying VM issue, or or a network device error. And after your service modeling is done, one of the very, very important capability that the platform, Helix platform, provides is the automated topology reconciliation. So behind the scenes, we build an AI knowledge graph to map all these data that we've ingested together with these services. And then based on the temporal, topological, and the textual correlations, we build up, we provide these set of capabilities. So, and the best part is everything is in context to each other. How is this incident related to this device, to this particular log file, or to this particular metric? Everything is stitched together. And what you see at the core is this set of AI agents, which are purpose-driven, purpose-built to achieve a given job there. And what AIOps provides at the core is the causal AI capabilities. How do we do this event correlation, reduce noise, provide the root cause analysis? The predictive AI piece, how can I do anomaly detection or be able to prevent these service interruptions from occurring, from not occurring or not impacting my given service? And add to it, we have these domain-specific large language models further fine-tuned with the customer-specific data on their tenants. And then what we provide is the set of generative AI and the agentic AI capabilities to provide you the summarizations, insights, and the recommendations. And the Helix platform also integrates with the automation platforms to allow users to automate and execute runbooks to remediate a situation or a problem. And you can, and by virtue of the Helix platform, which is our agentic AI service ops platform, we also integrate with the ITSM tools, like, be it our Helix ITSM or the third-party ITSM tools, to either create incidents or even get the data, incident data, changes data, and other sources, all in context of the operations management, right? So moving on, next, one of the cool capability that is available to us already with our latest release, and that we want to really emphasize and urge our customers to also try out, is the BMC Helix Insight Finder. So think of a time when there was a predefined dashboard created by a business intelligence analyst who will, look at the underlying data, create a static dashboard view and report, which is useful today. But is it really the one that I as an operator need, I as a business owner need to for my given purpose? And that is where Insight Finder comes to the play, wherein you can create on-the-fly visualizations. You can create contextual data. You can query the data to get the contextual insights with respect to your problem, with respect to your service, with respect to your situation, with respect to your incident. And so what it does is it will create these visualizations on the fly, and then you can always save these visualizations and share it with your peers, with your stakeholders, with other users for further reference. So and obviously we have plans to improve upon it based on the customer feedback. But again, very, very interesting, useful capability out there in the market already that we want you to use it. Moving on is the change risk advisor. So whenever we talk about service ops and the IT service management, change is a very important dimension that we want to analyze there. And also the research and studies says that 60 to 80% of the production grade outages can be traced to one or the other change which is deployed in your infrastructure, in your network, right? So then if changes are that great, then what is the way to mitigate the impact of those changes? And that is where this change risk advisor based AI agent comes to our rescue, wherein for any change which is in draft stage, any change which is not implemented, still not approved, how can we take data-driven decisions and to see whether our change is good to be executed, good to go ahead, and or it needs or we need to cancel it or postpone it. So this changes advisor, some of you may be trying it already today. It is available today with our Helix ITSM. But what we are also doing is extending the similar capabilities to extend it with other ITSM tools like the ServiceNow and the Jira as well. So it does it. So for any change which is in draft stage, it assess the change risk level. It looks at the both the AIOps side of the data from the service. If a change is deployed for a given service for a CI, it will look at the underlying service health, look at the health indicators that are likely to be impacted. It will look at the any open situations out there or not. Similarly, it will also look at what is the incident trend looking like, and what whenever a similar situation was executed in the past, how was the health of that service, and did it cause any issues or not. So based on this whole exhaustive analysis there, it provides those core data data points for a cab approver to take meaningful decisions, and hence to see whether we should go ahead with a change now, or we have to first do certain things as per the insights provided by the changes advisor to before we can execute or make the change into production. So I think I'm quite excited to have this capability out there uh, 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 in our product roadmap. Now, another very cool innovation is the service mapper agent. So at the start of my slide, slide deck, I shared that, hey, once you get the data ingested, then what we do is we build a service map, right? An end-to-end service layered topology modeling to do that. Now, today we already provide you the blueprints-based approach, wherein you can create your services easily. But now with the service mapper agent, it is taking the game to a bit higher by saying that, hey, even for the technical services, let the agent auto discover, auto create those services based on the discovered CIs and the entities. So all your technical services will be automatically discovered and created for you. And then as a business owner, all you will be required to do is just to stitch all these technical services to your business service, and your service is ready to be consumed by the users. And hence we want to the benefit it provides us from a time to value perspective for a system user or for a NOC engineer who has been looking at monitoring the health of the devices and CIs. Now to get into the concept of service modeling, it just makes it a lot more seamless and a lot more faster for him to unlock the value of AI ops. Okay. So the next innovation that we have is the best action planner. So wow, so best action planner, as the name suggests, is the agent helps us to provide a best action plan. Now that we have identified a problem, we know what is the issues which that it is referring to. What is the steps? What is the remediation that a operator can do to do that? So as part of the best action planner, one of the key things that we're doing is we provide a deep root cause analysis. What does that mean? So that essentially means is not just you're doing the root cause analysis based on the events and the metrics. You will also look at the adjacent data, like the changes data. Hey, for this given problem, were there any changes that were deployed in your application, in your production environment in the last X hours, for example, in the last 24 hours? And then you analyze, and if that change brings it into new information, the HelixGPT best action planner agent will auto reason out and then updates the root cause analysis to say that, hey, this is the updated root cause analysis to take action on. Now that once you get the more precise, accurate root cause analysis, next step is how do we further even enhance the best action recommendations. So today you would see that we leverage the incident resolution notes, on the incident ITSM incident side to provide the best action recommendations there. But along with that, we are also enhancing it to include not to also include the work logs, right? Whatever information that a service desk or the users who are working on that incident are writing, or if there's any knowledge base article which is attached to that incident, we will also look at that to provide a lot more contextual and specific recommendation for an operator to take action. And the last piece, and another important area is how do we provide a way for the users to provide feedback also? So Agentic AI HelixGPT provides you a set of remedial steps, right? So once a user executes a remedial steps, it can also come back and tell the HelixGPT that, hey, this remediation provided yielded these results, it did not work, or what can I do? So based on that, the HelixGPT will auto correct itself and provide the next set of remediation steps based on the previous output that is shared by the operator. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be very exciting to how we're going to further enhance these whole best action recommendations and the planner out there, so that it makes it pretty easy for the operators to not just identify but also act upon it in a more contextualized, specific a way. Next up is the operations analyzer agent, another very adjacent yet important area around around the server automation and compliance that we're working on. So the whole idea is how do we make this automation, server automation and patching thing a lot more easier? How do we make the compliance thing a lot more easier for the users? Again, we are leveraging and providing a chat-based interface to the users, and wherein they can ask the HelixGPT, like, what is the percentage of my target, patch jobs that were successful, and you can also query questions like, what is the percentage of patch targets that required a reboot, and or what are the servers that were not covered with a so and so patch, and then HelixGPT will tell you the result that, hey, these were the particular servers that were still not updated yet with the latest patch, and then can you go about doing it? And not just that, you can also ask questions around the compliance level. Show me the compliance for let's say a CIS level 1 compliance on a given SUSE server, and then it will tell you where we are, what is the issues with it. And also, for before my next audit, if I have to what is my current compliance level that we are at. So, I mean, this is just an overview of what are the things that you're getting into by leveraging the operations analyzer agent to make this whole patching job, which we have been doing traditionally over the decades, lot more simpler and provide a very good user experience to the users. The next innovation that we have is around the capacity optimizer agent. So, so far I've been talking about operations management. How do we do this tactical transactional troubleshooting on there, and then be able to solve an outage. But how do you make sure that your systems are up and running now and in future and always? How do you continuously optimize your systems to make sure that it is able to meet the demands of your users even now and in future? And that is where the continuous optimization and hence a capacity optimizer agent, which uses a continuous optimization, is provided to look at what are the optimizations that are that we can do. What is the cost savings that we can do on my application? So what today we are using 5 servers, let's say, to deploy or host an application. Is it good? Is it underutilized? And what if the number of users are going to double down over the next 6 months to an year? So do you need to optimize and expand your capacity? And what are the optimizations that you can do? And hence, what is the cost savings that we can do for you so that so all these recommendations and all these important from a risk perspective, from a cost perspective, from a capacity perspective, we provide you all these greater insights, and then it allows you to then design and act from a service assurance and optimization perspective there. I think very, very cool, which is going to, further superpower our AI ops and the operations management. Another interesting area that we are looking at is the adaptive data collector agent. So, if I go back to my AIOps, overview slide, one of the things, the starting point, as I mentioned, is the data ingestion. So anything, I mean, AIOps is an intelligence layer, but it all depends on the underlying, the data is really the gold mine for us, right? And now with the adaptive data collector, what we're looking at is how can we get this adaptive intelligence to say that, so if a system is good right now, okay, I'm good to collect data at a set frequency of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 30 minutes. But what if your service health is red, it is in a critical state, and you want to troubleshoot it? So can I increase my data points of data collection? Can I collect metrics every 2 minutes, or even every few seconds, for that matter? And not just the KPIs. Can I also look at the underlying system metrics also collected there? So this is where the adaptive data collector agent will automatically determine, based on the business context, based on the service health, to see whether how can I auto tune my frequency, my and the kind of metrics and the kind of data that I want to ingest into my platform. And once your problem is resolved, once it is once the issue has been fixed, you can always reset it. The agent will auto reset it based on the standard interval of data collection. So I think the whole idea is to provide a lot more data to the AI to do meaningful analysis, and hence this adaptive intelligence with the data collection is going to help us in a long way to achieve that outcome that we're looking at. Okay, see, the another interesting capability that I want to talk about is the ops farmer. So I think a lot of you would have already used it, or would be aware that we already have this ops farmer available there with our in AI ops, with our Helix ITSM, and even with the service now there. Okay, so what ops farmer does is it provides us a collaboration interface via this conversational chat interface, wherein in context of your incident, in context of your problem, you can troubleshoot proactively. You can get the operations data, you can do change analysis, incident analysis today. But what we are now further augmenting it with is how can we bring in a timeline, and if there's a knock bridge which is open for a given issue and there were many stakeholders, how can we have the voice call summary and the action items identified in context of the same incident that we're talking about, and without users having to go at multiple screens to understand, to take the next actions. So everything in context of that, in context of that, in context of that problem, that incident, and in the UI of your that our NOC engineers and our SREs are using, which is your MS interface, MS Teams interface. So I think it's going to be very, very useful and powerful for us, that along with your so number one, you don't need to go to a specific UI for that matter. MS Teams interface, all the data is brought together here and now augmented with the knock bridge voice call summaries, with the timeline charts and everything, just to take meaningful and proactive actions for that incident. So this is again on our roadmap, and we will continue to iterate and improve the ops farmer capabilities. Perfect. So, the last piece that I want to talk about, and as Yellen mentioned, that we do have a plethora of agents, but is that all? Does it take care of all your problems or all your use cases? Maybe not. And that is where the whole idea that we have with Agent Studio is how do we enable the agentic innovation, not just for the BMC, but for our users and for community? How can they leverage our Agentic Studio platform to be able to create their own custom agents, their own workflows, and achieve their desired outcomes? Right. In that respect, we the agent builder helps us to provide a no-code interface to extend and customize a given agent already out there, as well as be able to integrate the agent, the custom agent or the available agent into your organization, into your business applications, and into your organization's workflows, and coupled it with even creating a more complex workflows also, and bringing and integrating these multiple agents together. So for example, how do you take the output of one agent and feed it as an input to another agent, and then coupled it with another workflow to make an end-to-end business capabilities to achieve a given outcome that we are looking at. And the best part is all of this gets together in context of your current data, and hence you can get the real-time testing, real-time feedback and validation of whether the agent so created is yielding the right result, or do I need to further customize, do I need to further optimize that agent there. Okay, so I have this, a very cool video around the Agent Studio that I was talking about, but it's a bit long, around 3 minutes. So in the interest of time, I would not run it, but I would urge you that if you get these slides, you can play it offline to understand how it works, and what is it that we are working on to, enable our users to be able to create their own purpose-built AI agents for their use cases. Okay, so with that, I think I would hand it over to Sam to take us further here.
Thank you. I'm very impressed. I've got 3 product managers on here, and we've managed to almost get it into time. I was very worried because there's so much great stuff.
Not common for us, but yeah, perfect timing. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Anuj. Well done.
Yeah, and what I will do is I will share the video, because I'll get that to you offline, as well as what's already in the slides as well. And we'd love everyone to watch that. We'll send you the direct link. So just wrapping us up, because I want to leave a few minutes left for the Q&A as well. For those that are on the call today, I suspect many of you have possibly gone to our roadshows already. We had Mumbai and Melbourne. We are now at Stockholm, and that is exactly where Yaron is sitting right now. So we have got him from Stockholm. John is in APAC, so he's in I was going to say Australia, and then we've got Anuj in India. So we really have got a global team, and me in the UK today. We do have a couple of other roadshows coming up. So if you are near any of these locations, these are the final ones that we're going to bring it home. And the last one will be Frankfurt in November. So I will send out the events link, which will take you directly to see what's coming up. And those are our in-person events. Obviously, it's lovely speaking to you digitally, but we would love to see you in person. And then the other slide we've just taken, and we've just switched to now. Some of you may have filled them in if you've been to the other roadshows. We work very closely with Gartner and Trust Radius, and I know John, who's also on here as well, has got probably a lot to say about Gartner, because often when I like to get some of the time from the PMs, they tell me, sorry, we're working on Gartner. So we have some peer insights, really important to get your feedback. It isn't us directly that gets the feedback, it goes directly to Gartner. If you fill it in and it gets published, then you get $25, and you can do up to sort of 3. So if you do have anything that you want to share, please fill those reviews in. Don't worry about taking the links now. If you have got your phone, then you can scan the QR code and they will decide whether it's going to be published. I think you have to meet certain metrics. John, do you want to mention anything about that before we move to the next slide?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, Gartner's a really important one, I think, for the industry. When we talk to customers, it's Gartner that they often pay attention to. I don't want this to be an advert for one analyst, because obviously other analysts are very important too. But in this case, the peer reviews are, your voice. So always encourage people. I mean, we it gives us feedback that we can really depend on, whether that's feedback we like or feedback we have to take as constructive advice. So very, very important place to go. and push that. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. And then we do have the direct one that will take you the next slide, but we'll scan over that. You're on for conscious of time. And then there's a couple of announcements, just a recap for you. We've got quite a lot of education subscriptions. It's actually the department I work in customer success. There is a lot of blurb and abstract here. I'm not going to read it all, but we do have course offerings for web-based training, so that may be convenient for many. But we also have a subscription which is instructor-led, which is more in person. And there is a discount to use, which is the COE FY26, which you can see at the top. If you quote those codes, you will get your 15% discount. And then the final slide is just really a bit of a plug for what's coming up next. So we do work together quite extensively as a team. Either individually, I work with the PMs, or I work directly with 3 or 4 of them. And as you can see, we've got the next session for what we've just presented today. If you do have any colleagues that are on the time zone for EMEA or also the US, we have this second session that's happening later today. We also have 2 AIOps roadmap type AIOps adoption sessions, so not a roadmap on the product per se, but more about adoption. We are working with 2 people that we closely work with in services. Euron and I will be on both of those webinars, and we'd love to see you there. Again, there's some links for you to click to register. And then if you have a look in the bottom right-hand corner, a QR code that will take you to the webinar page where we put everything. And then finally, we will be doing this quarterly series again in December. So if you did already sign up, you would have seen there was other sessions for the 3rd and the 10th of December. If not, I will be sharing out and reminding you of that link. We would love to see you in our next iteration of this session. I think that is it. You're on. Save the best till last. The
Very
Q&A.
good. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the watch, and we're exactly at time. So I do encourage everybody who on this call, first of all, to thank you. And also, if you have any questions, you're going to get an email from Sam after the session with a recap, and we're going to answer some of the questions that we already got in the chat. So you're going to get an email with that and the answers. If you have any further questions, please do reach out to us. There's going to be emails in the links. But if anybody has a quick question they want to ask right now, you're more than welcome to. And if not, we're exactly at time, so I think we're going to wrap up.